Hyunmoo Kong is a minor scraping boy in a world where those with the right talent can make millions as hunters in dungeons. He is poor and unable to pay his debts from the money he earned from mining, but one day, he is approached by a lawyer who came to deliver him what his father had left for him, even though he had no parents. He received a return stone which was used by the hunters to return from a dungeon. They discuss the trending news of Lee Jidi, who was an S-ranked hunter. He feels worthless in front of him and thinks if he had a chance to be like him. He holds the pendant in his hand, and suddenly a bright light started to come out of it, and he was transported into an unknown world. A screen pops in front of him, saying welcome. He was confused about where exactly was he. A new set of screens appeared in front of him, informing him that he has mana circulating in his body now, and tells him that he is the last survivor. He was so confused and saw a huge moss crystal, which makes him amused by how much this crystal cost. Out of nowhere, he is paralyzed, unable to breathe. He fell to the ground. The screen informs him that he was being attacked by enemies. Another screen tells him that he died. He wakes up thinking it was a bad dream, only to see a new screen in front of him, telling him that he has begun a new quest. He was scared and starts to run, but again he dies. He tries to pray to the gods, but it does not work. His next plan was to just sit in one place and try to calm his breath by using breathing techniques he learned in the past. After his 28th death, a screen pops up telling him that he has now leveled up. He feels like his body is lighter, and another screen tells him that he has gained a new skill that prevents him from dying from poison. As he inspects the moss crystals lying around, he wishes that he could take one home. To his surprise, a screen pops up telling him that he can now save the crystal in his inventory. He was just exploring the screen when he hears a very familiar sound. When he sees it, he starts to run, as a full swarm of huge mosquitoes was coming in his direction. In no time he is surrounded by the mosquitoes and is killed in an instant. The screen pops up informing that he has now leveled up. And to his surprise, all the mosquitoes were dead from the blood they sucked from his body. He gets a new skill, dismantle, and tries it on a chair. The chair is instantly dismantled, and he was thinking of a new creation type of skill. And to his surprise, he gets another skill of creation. He is now all ready and pumped up to make a new shelter. He is at a rundown place where he inspects his inventory and finds a newspaper. As he picks it up, he gets the ability to read. He was unsure of the situation in the outside world. He sits down and uses his skills and dismantles the mosquitoes into Hell Mosquito Stinger, Hell Mosquito Wings, and Hell Mosquito Blood. He picks up the Hell Mosquito Blood, uses his production skill to build a Hell Dart, and thinks of inspecting it later. He then uses his production skill on other items and crafts an unknown egg. It tells him to take care of the egg in order for it to hatch. There was a 50 to 50% of chance that the creature in the egg, when hatched, may be alive or dead. He was just inspecting the egg and heard a sound, only to find a dreadful goblin in the window. The goblin notices him and runs to kill him. He tries to run away using the staircase, but the goblin was too fast. He then summons a stick from his inventory and attacks the goblin. But his attack fails. The goblin then runs towards him and launches an attack. At first, he blocks his attack using the stick he summoned earlier, but the stick broke as the goblin used a sharp knife. The goblin speaks in a foreign language, which astounds him. He dodges his attacks and attacks him using the Hell Dart. The goblin blocks the darts using the knife. But one of the darts hits him, so he chops down his hand. He speculates that his arm was harmed due to his poison blood in the dart. As he was thinking, the goblin pounces on him and kills him. He is then resurrected back according to his perks and swears that he will get his payback soon. The screen informs him that he has cleared the quest First Night in Hell. He was rewarded for his win and now can use the return stone to go back to his world. He then uses the stone and returns to reality. He rejoiced to be back in the reality. It was raining heavily. His sister calls his name as she saw him lying on the ground and is visibly horrified to see him lying there. She covers him with her coat. She gives him mana contamination remover and asks him to use it. But he denies it, so she gets agitated by it and starts to beat him. After the bath, he asks her what was the date today, and is shocked by the answer, as it was just 2 days in reality, but in the other world he felt more than a year. His sister inspects his body and is confused to stare at his body, which makes him embarrassed. She then quickly leaves the room to get him new clothes as his old ones were all torn up. When he confirms that she has left him alone, he summons the screen and sees the reward he received from the quest. He opens the box and is rewarded with legendary skill. As there were only 7 legendary skill bearers in this world, he is now the 8th one. As he was inspecting his card, he heard someone quickly make things look normal. It was his sister who was back again with some clothes for him. They were having a chat. He summons the crystal moss he brought from the other world, which surprises her as it was a huge 1 kilogram block of crystal moss with a purity of 4 number 5 stars. He asks her to sell this block, but she tells him that it was not possible to sell a huge block of crystal without any documentation, so he breaks the crystal into 2 halves, which agitated her. But he makes her calm by saying that he has more of the crystals. The next morning, both of them get ready and went to the place where the dealer was supposed to meet them. The dealer introduces himself as Park Wiseau and shakes his hand with him. He was shocked as he looked old but had immense strength. He was prepared to face him if the old man tries to attack them. The deal goes well and they leave the place. She mocks him because he thought that the dealer would threaten them and the deal may go wrong, but nothing, as he imagined, happened. She shows him her bank balance, which was astounding $1 million. Here, the old man was having a chat with an unknown man who seemed to have a suspicion of Hyunmoo, and it was revealed that the unknown man was no other than the SS-class hunter, Lee Ji-tae. A few days later, Hyunmoo was in the other world and was training to increase his strength. He has figured out that the time passed in this world will also pass in reality. The only problem he had that was his location changed every time he returns to reality. He tries to figure it out and is frustrated. As he was inspecting his newly acquired skill and uses it on the punching bag. The skill was so strong that he was easily able to tear the whole punching bag from the center. He was shocked as well as proud of his newly acquired skill. A new quest window pops up in front of him. He is agitated to see that it was just a beginner-level quest even though he was at level 7. He was ready to fight and moves to the place of the quest. He finds the scarecrows. He was confused as they were just standing still and not attacking him. He prepares his poison blood dart and attacks one of the scarecrows, but still, nothing moves. He thought that it will be easy to defeat the bots as they were not attacking. He then punches one of the bots with his full power and is shocked to see that the bot has little to no damage. The scarecrows inform him that opponent recognition has been completed and starts to attack him. He was agitated and now activates his ultimate skill Battle Helper, but that was not enough to take down the scarecrows. All the scarecrows grab him and beat him to a pulp. The screen informs him that he was dead and will be resurrected. He was not able to get a single clean strike on them. And tries to use his other skill. This time he was able to deliver huge damage to a scarecrow, but the scarecrow upgrades itself and now has deadly weapons. Once more he is dead. He has lost count of how many times did he die and was resurrected. He finally realized 3 facts about the quest. First, that combat level ends with level 4. Second, the scarecrows have a fixed pattern of moving. Third, there is no need to destroy them. If they take a certain amount of damage, they stop moving. He was able to give a good fight to the scarecrows, and with a final blow, he was able to complete the sparring. He was really happy to, at last, complete the quest. He then checks his quest rewards and gets a new item, a celestial cradle, a cloth that accelerated growth and fully restores any damage in the body. He thinks for a while and uses the cloth on the egg he obtained when he was dismantling the mosquitoes. He waits for some time and there is no reaction, so he thinks of selling it. And suddenly the egg cracks, which terrifies him as he thinks that a cannibal monster might come out from the egg. As the egg cracks, a golden light started to come out of it. And he finds out that there is a cute fairy. When he tries to touch it, she tries to eat his finger, due to which he quickly throws her away. The fairy cries as she was really hungry, so he gives her a chocolate, but she rejects it. He asks him what she wants to eat. She points a finger toward him. We come to know that she really is cannibalistic. She uses a straw and sucks blood from his hand. He tries to take her off his hand, but she resists and asks him if she will stop the bleeding. She then orders him like he was a slave, which infuriates him. So, he captures her and introduces himself, and asks her what was she. She fails to remember her identity. But the only thing that she remembered was that she has promised to eat all the living organisms when the world ends. Which terrifies him, and he starts to consider killing the mosquito fairy. He was quite confused as she was able to devour his poisonous blood without any problem. He accepts the fact that she is going to devour the whole world and thinks to tame her as his pet or something like that. He names her Renian, but regrets it after he comes to know that in Pixie language the word Renian means agent of the apocalypse. He tells her that if she has to be along with him, then she has to promise him that she'll never eat a human. In exchange he will give her his blood. Pixie sees the defeated scarecrows and asks Hyungmo about them. As he was telling her about it, a screen pops up saying Valiant Energy has been added to the battle helper. He thinks for a while and takes on the scarecrow and uses his skill on it. This time he was able to destroy the bot easily. Pixie is very excited and does the same attack on the other scarecrow, which instantly terrifies him. The scarecrows start to rise from the ground and approach him. The lock has been deactivated. One of the bots points his finger towards something. And there was debris which out of nowhere happened to be there without his notice. He clears the debris and finds a skeleton underneath it. It was holding a letter. He reads the letter. It has been 3 years since the level rose to nightmare. The situation only worsened. Children who were born in this toxic air have died. The ability users couldn't hold out either and started dying out. Hope continues to fade away. We, mankind, are going extinct. He was shocked to read the letter. Ranian finds a return stone and shows it to him. He carefully inspects his own return stone and asks her to hand it over. As he touched the return stone, a golden light engulfed the room, and it is absorbed into him, and a mark is placed on his hand. A screen appears in front of him. The stars are watching you. Out of nowhere, the room is engulfed by some strange phenomenon and he is transported to an unknown place. He was confused about where he was teleported. The screen tells him that the advancing star, Beryl, has recognized his absorption of the star fragment. Due to his arrogance, the conquering star, Arden, has lost interest in him and leaves the place. He arrogantly waves his hand and tells everyone who wants to leave can leave the place as he had other options to choose from. The stars agreed and gave him some time to think, and he assures them that he will not take too long. He was teleported back to the room where he found the fragment. The Whispering Star was still with him and gives him some powers in advance as a bribe. He was curious about the stars and thinks to find out more about the stars in the future. That's it for today, guys. Thanks for watching.